Welcome. This is William Galloway speaking to you today on a subject that's very dear to me, the theft of black land of the Low Country. I do not know if it's happening all over the state of South Carolina, but in Beaufort County, in Jasper County, and Hampton County, this land is being stolen from black folks every year, and no one is saying anything about it. Even black folks are not saying anything. The majority of the population isn't saying anything. And you say, well, why are you saying something? Well, how can they not know that the land is being stolen from them? Well, here's how it works. Every year there is a delinquent tax sale in Beaufort County, Jasper County, and in the Low Country. And because individuals do not pay their property taxes, and black folks own a lot of land in those areas. And the situation is that when it's time to go to the tax sale, the state of South Carolina's statute calls for selling just enough property to pay the property tax. If you have 10 acres of property and you owe $100 or $500 or whatever the amount is, and if you sell 1 acre, if 1 acre is sufficient to pay the property taxes, the law states you only sell 1 acre to pay the property taxes and not the other 9 acres. But what these counties have been doing, they will sell the entire 10 acres for the $500 in taxes. And that is illegal, according to the statute of the state of South Carolina. Now, they also will run up the bill. If the property taxes was $500, some person or company will bid up to maybe $50,000. Now, when they do that, the homeowners or the property owners usually feel that they have to pay $50,000 to get their property back. They're not explain the situation and redemption process fairly, in my opinion. I've attended quite a few tax sales. If the property bids is $50,000 and they'll only owe $100, then you'll pay 3% after the first day. The next day, you'll pay 3% of the $50,000, which would be $1,500 interest plus the tax. And the $1,500 is for the penalty for you not paying the property tax. So if they could not pay $100, it's going to be very difficult for them to pay the $1,500. But they feel a lot of times that it's not $1,500, it's $50,000. So they would just walk away because it had not been explained to them so that they would understand in a lot of cases. I attended the last tax sale, and the announcer, after selling 3 or 4 pieces of property, he continued to say that that's enough. That will pay the property taxes, just enough. Because there was one piece, but their family owned 6 pieces. So they would sell the 1 piece and not sell the other pieces. And the 1 piece of property would pay the property taxes for the remaining piece of property. And it said that for the first 4 or 5. After that, went back to doing the same old thing. If you owe 10 acres, they will sell the entire 10 acres for the delinquent taxes. The statute makes it clear. You only sell just enough. So I've spoken to attorneys, and they say, yes, that's exactly what the statute says. They only sell just enough to pay the property taxes. They say, but the family have to request them to divide the property and take just enough to sell the property and not sell all of it. If the family does not request it, then they will sell all of it. The statute does not say the family need to request it. It merely states that when the property is divisible, you only sell enough to pay the property taxes. Now, they had wholesale theft like that during after the Civil War. Black folks owned 95% of the property on Hilton Head. 95%. After the Civil War, and today, black folks own 5% of the property on Hilton Head, and the rest of the majority of the other people own 95%. It's completely reversed. And that is how they took the land on Hilton Head, by selling the property the way they should not have sold the property, and got away from black folks just like that. It's happening in Jasper County. It's happening in Bluffton, South Carolina. The city of Bluffton is predominantly black. Now it's predominantly white. Within the last 30 years, it's completely changed. It's happening in Hardyville, South Carolina. It's happening in Ridgeland, South Carolina. It's happening in Hampton, South Carolina. The exact same thing, the theft of the land. Now, one of the remedies that, one of the tricks that I've learned, and it's stated in the statute, if you bid on property and you have until the end of the day at 5 o'clock to pay the bid price. What happens if you bid on your property? If someone bids $50,000 and they do not have the money, knowing they didn't have the money, and at the end of the day, you do not go down there to pay the property, the bid of $50,000. What is the penalty for doing that? The penalty is $300, is what the state statute calls for. If you do a bid and you do not fulfill the bid, you're fined $300. Now, I recommend, if you have property that someone bid up to $50,000, and you know you do not have the $50,000, and you bid $75,000, and they will say, well, if they back down, whatever the fee will cause them to back down, you bid whatever you have to bid. If it's $150,000, you bid $150,000, knowing full well that you did not have the money. You knew that when you did it. So at the end of the day, you do not pay $150,000. Then they will send you a letter informing you that you now owe $300. When they send you the letter, you owe $300. Then you go and pay the taxes at that time. So you avoid having the property sold by someone else and purchased by somebody else. You just go ahead and pay the tax at that point. You pay a $300 penalty, which is a whole lot cheaper than paying $2,000 or $5,000 in interest after one day. That's what I recommend. That's exactly what I would do. I've done it. They bid on my property, and I was certain because I owned the property, I thought I'd taken care of this particular piece of property. And for some reason, it slipped my mind, oversight. And we went to the tax sale. I found out on that Saturday. I said, oh my God, I didn't pay the taxes. And I don't know why, because no one informed me. I ran in the newspaper. I didn't see it. I went down to the tax sale. And maybe it was deliberate that I didn't pay it. Maybe. Here's what I did. I went to the tax sale, and someone bid $75,000. I said, 100,000. And they bid 110. I said 150. They said he's an owner of the property. He cannot bid on his own property. But the statute doesn't say that. Statute does not say that I cannot bid on my own property. I was a successful bidder, of course. They knew who I was. So they felt as though they were going to make a nice little sum of money off of me right away. So I bid 150,000. Knowing I didn't have it. So the treasurer called me to the office and said, you cannot do that. You cannot bid on your own property. I said, show me in the statute where it says that. Show me. It says it's not in there. If you show me where it's not, show me where it is. Well, this treasurer called the state in Columbia, spoke to the delinquent tax collector, the treasurer's office, and it says no statute preventing him from bidding on his own property, which is what I did. So she was upset, but I was right. And I just paid the taxes the next day because it was an oversight. But even if it wasn't an oversight, I did it anyway. And they would have to put the property back up for sale after I get through with doing what I was doing, because the bidding was over. They could not give it to the next lowest bidder because they don't know who the person was. And I was a successful bidder. So we never let anyone outbid you on your own property. It does not make any sense. When you have an escape clause, that the fine for doing bidding is only $300 if you fail to complete the bid. So don't let anyone take your property. 95% of the land on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, a major resort right now, is now owned, not owned by black folks, owned by other people. Black folks now only own 5%, and no one is complaining, other than it's one person. Say, but granddaddy used to own that land, or granddaddy used to own that land. They took it from us. They took it from you because you didn't know what to do. On Fusky Island, 100% of the land was owned by black folks just 20 years ago. And now only 2% is owned by black folks. One family was over there, had little goats, sheep, cows, and the developer went over, said, "I'd like to buy your land." So the old lady said, "Well, where am I going to go, me and my husband? We don't have any money to move. We want to stay right here." So we've been there all these years. Family owned it for generations. I said, "Well, you have to pay the taxes." I said, "We can't afford to pay the taxes." I said, "Move, sell it, and move. Move to Georgia. Move, sell the property." I said, "We don't want to sell." I said, "Okay, your taxes are up." The family eventually had to sell at a loss because they had to move from the Fusky Island. Now they're talking about getting employees to come back to Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. There are 14,000 employees that work on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. 14,000 that comes over every day, commute. Now they're saying that, well, we have to find housing for these people because it's inconvenient for people who have purchased the property on Hilton Head and built those hotels and all that kinds of thing. And we need the workers. So we're finding a place to put workers temporarily so that they can be over here on Hilton Head Island to work. Now, what do you do? With all the property stolen, in my opinion, I'm not an attorney. What do you do? You said, I've explained the situation. So what do you do? You file a class action lawsuit and go after all the property owners on Hilton Head who benefited from the theft of the land. Get an attorney, file a class action lawsuit against the entire Hilton Head Island, and a judgment. And then, you're not going to take over the hotels. You're not going to take over the homes that the people have moved in. But at least you can be compensated, good court judgment, and have them pay money. Have them compensate the families for the land that's taken away. I know there was land that you can get. You say, well, that doesn't seem possible. Well, the Native Americans up there in Rock Hill, or York County, they fought for 100 years to get equality and compensated for the land that was taken by the other people, Native Americans. They kept a cloud of title over the title of the property, and they fought until the government, finally, the United States government, under Bill Clinton and the Congress, compensated those Native Americans all of the land that they've taken for all over those years. They continued to fight. They sent the children to school, said, we're going to keep this up until we get our money. And they finally got the money. So now they have reservations, they have land, they are compensated, and they have the gambling outfits in all of North and South Carolina. They get compensated. They send money to the other Indian tribes that are also taken advantage of. And I live in a community that the Native Americans used to own, the Coosawhatchee tribe, the Yamasee tribe, the Uhaw tribe. And all of them live right down in the area, South Carolina. We don't see any of them anymore. They're all gone. Land was taken from them. But at least they got compensated up there in York, South Carolina, which is near Rock Hill, South Carolina. So I recommend people get together, concerned citizens, and file a lawsuit. Try to get compensated, and you will. because the land was taken illegally. They stole it from you. Now, the statute says that they should not have done that. But you let them do it. They got away with it so far. But someone needs to shake you. Say, listen, hey, there's money. You can shake it out of their pockets. Have them to pay for what they've done. But 95% of Hilton Head is now owned by the other people other than blacks. The majority taking the land. You have to do something for the next generation, for yourself and for the next generation. It just doesn't make any sense. Now that you know the statute calls for selling just enough property to pay the property taxes. And I've spoken to a couple of attorneys. They said, yes, we know. We know. I said, I know. There's nothing wrong. You're all not saying anything. You're cool. So he said, if you're cool, we're cool. He said, but I'm telling you, that is the way to do it. And once I complained, and I own the radio station. I've owned 3 in the same area. And I've all sold all 3 of them. I spoke to the county council, and they listened to me because I own a radio station, and I was a troublemaker. And I recorded and said things that are kind of inflammatory on the radio. Did not make any money, of course, because most black radio stations not making any money anyway. So I was in that category. And the county council listened. They said, I will appoint you to a board, and you'll be on the committee, and we'll have sections of the county that we'll send this group with you be a part of, and ask the people. And there were about 3 or 4 groups that we went to. Ask the people if they found anybody. Hear me now, this is it. If there's anyone, the land was taken illegally, have them come forward. Maybe you didn't hear me. As the Beaufort County said, the former committee that I was on, to find out if any black families lost their land because of illegal tax sales. And they've been losing it for maybe 100 years. Not one family came forward. A white attorney from Irmo, South Carolina. When I told him, search him out, found him because he'd help individuals with land. I said, I have some black folks that I'm going on the radio, and we're going to promote it, that they could possibly get the land back. He said, well, you don't know black folks. This is a white man. I said, yes, I do. I know my people. He said, no, you don't. He said, they're not coming forward. He said, they're just talkers. They're not going to do anything. He said, I'll tell you what I would do. If they come forward, and if they have a legitimate claim, I'll work on the claim at no charge until the claim is completed. Then I'll get compensated. He said, I'll take it off free at this point. I said, well, buddy, you have a lot of people going to be calling me, and I'll have them call you. He said, give them my number, broadcast on your radio station. I said, all right, sir. And I did. I explained to them like I'm explaining to you. Not one family called. I could not believe that. And they keep telling me on the radio, listeners, when they see me in the streets, you're doing a great job. Man, you're doing a wonderful job. Letting those people know about stealing land. I said, what about your family's land? I said, man, I don't know anything about that now. You're going too far. I don't know anything about land being taken. I said, I know your family's lost land. I know your family. And you know your family. I called the white attorney back. Told him I didn't have anybody. He said, I told you. Black folks just talk. They don't mean business. He said, when you're talking about what you're telling me, they're not going to do anything. I said, sir, I apologize to you. You were 100% correct. And I was 100% wrong. In addition to that, I've appeared on 60 Minutes. Or Safer came to my radio station, sat out in the yard, big satellite dish with my call letters WVGB 1490 AM, and interviewed me about what's going on in Hilton Head. We set it up for an interview, and went out to Hilton Head with a reporter. We talked about the land situation on Hilton Head, and it reported. 60 Minutes played it. I got calls from people who were in Germany, who were from Hilton Head Island, from the Low Country. They said, Galloway, you're doing a great job. What happened? Nothing. Not one thing. Nothing took place. It's frustrating, of course. I gave it all I had. I fought, trying to get it right. It just didn't work. So I'm trying again. This time, going all over the world again. My system now goes all over the world. I own the system. It's going all over the world. So anyone, and we encourage you to have other people to listen, because it's going to continue. The theft of black land. There's going to be another land sale in Beaufort, South Carolina in October. You can call the Treasurer's Office to find out the exact date and how to participate. The land sale again in November for Jasper County. Call the Jasper County Treasurer's Office, get the information. Land is being sold at an alarming rate. It'll blow your mind. All the newcomers to the area taking black land, and they just move. They don't say anything. They haven't said anything publicly. I've offered the opportunity. We'll continue to do so. Anyone who wants to talk about it and complain and get together. There's a little group that we have formed, and we're working on trying to get people who lost the land to come together, to participate, and let's work on getting a class action lawsuit. If you do not, it's nobody's fault but your own. I own land and not getting anything that I own. I may be the last owner in this area, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay. And I have some property right on the road, and they're not going to bother me. I'm prepared. So that's my talk for today, my brothers and sisters. We're talking about the Civil War. Look what happened in Nevada. They passed this anti-abortion law. Before the Civil War, they passed it. No more abortion. They passed a law that was passed over 150 years. And now, back before the Civil War, it's gone right back. And people are sitting around not wanting to vote. Before the Civil War was slavery. And we may be going back, we're going in that direction. You may say that it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. I want you to be aware. The land that we have now, we've got to keep it, because the people who lost the land during the Civil War, and they ran because of the Union soldiers coming, the Confederate soldiers and relatives left, they're coming back. They didn't go to stay, they're coming back to stay and get their property. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, if you're watching this, have your friends tune it in. Listen to it. Contact an attorney, a real estate attorney, just not any attorney, a real estate attorney. Some people say, well, my cousin is an attorney, he's a criminal attorney. It's not the best one. Best one to get, in my opinion, is a real estate attorney who understands the law. The criminal attorney is good for a criminal, the experts. Real estate attorney should be an expert in real estate. So I encourage you to at least participate. Get together with your family who've lost land as a result of the tax sale of Beaufort County, the tax sale of Jasper County, the tax sale of Hampton County, because they took Hilton Head, no one said anything. They're taking Bluffton, almost haven't, no one's saying anything. Coming through Hardyville on Highway 278 to 95 and I-95, no one's saying anything. They're coming on Highway 462 from Booker T Highway to I-95, no one is saying anything. I cannot understand this. In the community I lived in Beaufort County, in the city, the city was almost all black. Now, it's almost all white. When I was there, we talked about our community. We were very proud of the community. At least I was about 30 years ago. And they put a police department substation in the community. And I said, uh-oh, they didn't put it there for you. He said, oh, yeah, we got our own police department. Anything go wrong here, we call the police. I said, that's not what it's for. It's not for you. I said, you watch your taxes, watch your land. Now we see young, good-looking white ladies coming by, walking with a bikini, high-heel shoes, and a little dog, a little chihuahua on a chain. I said, that's what I'm talking about. You want to see trouble? Bother her. That's what the police station was put there for. You break in those houses, the white folks that moved in, you're going straight to jail. That's what the police department was for. You thought it was for you. It was not for you. They got prepared. They were thinking about this 15 or 20 years ago, and you just caught on now. Those of you who are still left in the community, you have to pay attention. Need to pay attention. It's coming. This is William Galloway. I've had my say for the day on the theft of black land of the low country. And if black folks do not do anything about it, you won't have any place to stay. Land is the basis of independence. Land is the basis of wealth. Without land, you're in a poor condition. You're renting, and the renter, the landlord gets the money, and you get the receipt of paper saying that you were a good tenant if you are. God bless you. Pay attention. Call someone and let them know that we need to do something about the land situation in Beaufort County, Jasper County, Hampton County. There may be other counties in the state. I don't know. I do know about what the statute calls for. That property taxes, property land is divisible, sells for delinquent taxes, divide the property, and then sell it. Only sell the portion that it takes to pay the taxes. God bless you all. Have a great day. Look forward to hearing from you. Good day.